What's up, everyone? This is Sarah on the Afros in the Diaspora podcast, and today we have our guest, Kome Eto. He's a comedian by night and I guess an engineer by day. But he is an incredible person living and working in Calgary. Kome, welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. I love how you started with the by night part. I don't know, me, I'm a creature of the day, oh, so as you start by night,
Okay.
you are on your own.
Okay. But that's how I actually got to know you first, is as a comedian in the city. And then, in our conversations, you were like, oh, yeah, I'm an engineer. And I'm like, oh, wow.
That's fair. Yeah, yeah. I can tell you one of those pays the bills.
True. Okay, cool. Are you ready to jump right into the trivia?
I mean, your question, am I ready? No, but do I have to? Yeah, let's get into it.
And somebody that will hear you now would think I not tell you.
Okay,
See, listeners, I told Kome, please get ready and defend your country, Nigeria. Do them
look,
proud.
just for the listeners, my country is also Canada, so like,
Oh,
I'm
God, go
a
and
little
sit
bit,
down. Did they
I'm
born
a
you
little bit.
here?
Okay, let's go. I'm ready. I'm
Let's
ready.
go. All right, cool. What year did Nigeria gain its independence?
Okay, yeah, yeah. This hopefully this is the only question. We're talking about 1960, 60, October 1st. Man, I remember what I was doing that day. It was a good day, man. We got rid of the British.
Whoa, you got rid of. You were there.
Yeah, yeah. Spiritually, we pushed them out.
Okay, cool, cool, cool,
Did I get that
cool.
one?
You got, of course, yeah. Like that was
Okay,
just
yeah,
a
yeah,
warm up.
yeah.
That was a warm up question. I didn't want to throw you to the deep end too quickly. All right, I want you to say the states and capitals for all the states starting with A.
All the states are in A. So we have Abia, Umuahia,
Mm-hmm.
Adamawa. We're gonna go with Oka.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. Um,
Yola.
Yola. That's what I was, like that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
about to say.
Ah, wow. Okay.
What's the next one? What's the next one with A?
I asked you. You're asking me back.
Okay, so okay. Let me for those of you who are thinking, oh, this guy is not bright. And I never learned this.
Oh, did you?
So
No.
yeah, and we can get into in the story, but when I first left Nigeria, I was in primary one. When I
Oh,
came
okay.
back, I was in primary five. So in those years, they
Mm.
must have done the states and capitals. But what I can tell you is I know my states, I know my capital,
That's not what I didn't
and
ask you for your state and your
and
capital. What I asked you, you just did talk story where they touch
okay,
souls.
okay, give me another state with A, then I can tell you the
So
capital for sure.
therefore, you said two:
Okay, yeah,
Abia, Umuaya, Adamawa, Yola,
yeah,
Akwa Ibom.
Adamoyola, Akwa Ibom, Calabar.
No.
In this life, if you speak with confidence, sometimes you can get through.
Akwa
Akwa Ibom,
Ibom.
that's obviously like Patakom.
Eh, okay. Clap for
They changed
yourself.
this.
Clap for
You
you.
know, they changed it this year.
They changed what?
They changed the capital of that state too.
Okay, what was the previous capital, Mr. Kome?
Why are you living in the past? Why are you living in the past?
Akwa Ibom, Uyo.
Uyo, okay,
What's the
give me the
last
fourth one. I
one?
got this one.
Anambra.
Anambra,
You
eh,
actually said it earlier. It was one of the wrong answers. You said it
Oka.
earlier.
Is that it?
Yeah, Anambra Oka.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the game. We're in the game. I give myself 50%.
50 over what? 200.
The thing is, I know the song too. I know the rhythm of the song, but I have like I'm after yeah, forget
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, one of those people.
I'm one of those. I left too
Yeah.
early.
You just go with the melody.
I go with the vibe.
Yeah.
I hum it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you just dance with it. You be one of those that would drum into, right?
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
beatboxer in the class.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
in this fourth republic that we are
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
name the presidents that
The
have,
president.
yeah, all of them from the fourth
Yeah.
republic of Nigeria.
Okay, let's work back. Let's work back. Because
Okay.
my guy right now is Trudeau, right? So like, whatever, right?
Are
But let's work back.
you
So let's start with the bats. We have the bats in office right now. Tinubu.
did you say bat?
Yeah, yeah. BAT, is that not his initials?
Oh, ha, 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 okay. I thought you were
Yeah.
referring to him as a battle, but that's good. That's
No,
good.
who
Continue.
am I? Who am I? Yeah, so Tinubu, before Tinubu was that tall guy, uh Yardua.
No.
No, Yardua was what's the name of this guy? Umaru Usman. No, ah, I
No.
forgot this guy that we just removed though.
Are you talking about the UFC fighter?
No, 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 no. That was no, that was Yardua's first name. I'm sure.
Mm,
Um,
no.
yes, no,
Umaru Musa Yaradua
yeah,
Alhaji.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, and
He's one
then
of the
somewhere in
presidents,
there,
but he
he's one
wasn't the
of
last.
them.
Yeah, he's one of them. So you've
Somewhere in there
listed
we
two.
have Goodluck Jonathan.
Okay.
Somewhere in there we have Obasanjo.
Okay.
Um,
The
and
last
then
one.
why am I forgetting this? Why am I forgetting this guy that we just removed?
Boo
Um,
Boo.
yes, Buhari. Say Buhari. Okay, how can I forget now?
Clap for
Sorry, Buhari.
yourself. You actually got it. You got
I
all
tried. I
four.
tried.
Or was it five? You sure got it, Sha. Good job.
I tried.
Okay, so
Given
now
that I was not living in that country for three of those presidents, so I'm doing all right.
okay. Are you trying to brag or you're trying to defend
Just
yourself?
I just
Because
tried to tell the listeners that look, this is not my true form, but I'm doing what I can.
okay, you're doing good. You're so far so
All
good.
right.
Okay, let's go over to the currency and the people
Okay.
on them.
Well done. Well done. Okay, let's go.
Me? What are you telling me? Well done.
Yeah.
Who's
No, I'm looking forward to this.
who is on the 100 naira note?
100 naira. That has to be. That has to be Herbert Macaulay.
No.
No. Okay. No. Actually, it's his second cousin, who
Mm-hmm.
is General Gowon.
No. No. Last final
Okay.
try.
My final my final guess. My final guess is Chinua Achebe.
No, it's Wale Soyinka. It's not only Chino
What?
Achebe.
I
Who
mean he should be. The thing is he should be. That's what
he should
I'm already
yeah, but
speaking. I'm speaking it. Yeah.
unfortunately he's not the one. He's a Yoruba
Okay. Who's on
man
100 naira?
with the
Is it
glasses.
Awolowo?
Uh-huh.
Okay. You should.
Obafemi.
Yeah. It's been a while since I spent a hundred naira.
Okay, so who's on the 100 Canadian dollar note?
Okay. Yeah. It's also been a while since I spent 100.
See you. Hey, my goodness. Okay, who's on the 200 naira note?
200 is definitely Segun Arinze.
It's Ramsey Noah. This man.
Right. They're actually two on Segun Arinze is on the front. If it's on the back, it's Ramsey Noah.
Mr. Man, it's not even. It's neither. I've been neither of the above. Before I back down
And
here, it's none of the above. Okay, this man, you are not taking this thing seriously.
but how about for effort though? E for effort.
E for effort. No, this one, no E
Yeah.
for. You're not even trying. You're not naming any of the politicians. This one is F9 for you. Um, Sir Amadou Bello.
If you started
Okay.
with star, I would have finished it.
Okay, now
Mm.
let's ask. Okay, so who is on the 500 naira note? This one does
Give me
not have any. It doesn't
their
have a
title.
sign.
This one there's no sign.
Nothing.
They
There's
don't
nothing
respect him.
there. They don't
Okay.
respect him.
uh,
They
this
do. Oh,
he
actually, you
said
know what? There's something. Doctor.
okay now, Dr. Tafa Balewa.
No, that's Alhaji.
Oh, this is an Igbo man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this has to be uh, Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Yes. At last.
Oh, we're in the game. We're in the game.
At last. At long last. Sing the first stanza of your current national anthem.
Current, right? Okay. First sentence is Nigeria, we hail thee. And
Wonderful. What's the national pledge?
okay, this one, no, this one's standard.
Mhm.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity and uphold our honor and glory. So help me God.
Hey, Mr.
Boop.
Kome. Good job. That was good. That was good.
Nah, that one is burned. That one is it will never leave.
That's good. Well done. Okay, we're going to round up this part of the icebreakers, and we're gonna go right to the riddles. Are you ready? Because these
Okay.
riddles, they are very
Uh,
corny and they are very like you think the answer is A,
no
but it's
problem.
really A minus.
Riddle me that.
All right,
Riddle me
let me.
that.
I will riddle you that. Okay, you asked for it. What? Okay, where can you finish a book without finishing a sentence?
Where can you finish a book without finishing a sentence?
Mm-hmm.
In an audiobook,
No.
you don't have. Okay. Where can you finish a book without finishing a sentence? This one passed me. Oh.
Do you want the answer? In a prison, you can finish a book but not finish your sentence.
This part of I'm sure this part of the podcast is for your enjoyment
Yes,
because
it is. It is totally.
oh
Okay,
my
I'll
God,
ask
that's a
you
good one
two.
though. So wait,
That's a
I'm holding that one
very.
for the next for the next person I meet.
This is the second to the last icebreaker question.
Okay, this one I got this one.
I am something. Hmm?
Hmm.
The man who makes me does not want me. The man who buys me does not need me. And the man who needs
Hmm.
me does not know it yet. What am I?
Jesus also. That's the answer. Hey,
You can't buy Jesus now, this guy.
the man who makes me
Going,
does
going,
not want me. Ah,
going, going.
no, wait, don't go on yet. Don't go on yet. It must be some sort of emotion. No, what is it? What's the answer?
A coffin.
Wow.
A coffin. The person that makes it doesn't
Okay,
want it. The person that buys it doesn't need it. But the person that needs it does not even know
that's legit.
because they're
That's legit.
dead.
That's legit. So after a full day of work, you have come to make my brain to be turning on your own. Okay.
Sorry.
Wow, a coffin. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the prison one though. I like that. That was nice.
That one's, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I've said this one before, so I'll consider this a bonus one, okay? This one I've said
Okay,
before
okay.
on this podcast. If there are 12 fish and half of them drown,
Hmm.
how many are left?
12 fish, half
Mm-hmm.
of them drown.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, like fish don't drown. Fish don't drown,
Hey,
fam.
yeah,
Come
okay,
on.
all right,
Come
all
on.
right, good job, because they
I was already
swim.
thinking, if you remove yeah, no, yeah. That one I'm here. I'm here.
We are proud of you. We're proud of you. Thank you for engaging with me in the icebreakers.
No,
Let's
that was
let's get
fun.
into let's get into your story. So Kome, as has been established, you are Nigerian, right? So would you mind just
Yeah.
telling us your immigration story of how you moved to Canada, if you moved by yourself with your family, what your stay here has been like so far?
Yeah. So specifically about like how I moved to Canada, um, I moved here. Technically, I moved here by myself. Although we actually moved to Canada, so I moved here at the same time as my brother and sister. But we came from different places. But we actually moved to Canada on like a permanent residency already. So my folks had like years before applied for whatever skilled worker program, whatever the case is, and they applied for the whole family. So the whole family in like 2010, it came through. And at that time, I was enjoying myself on the beaches in Florida. That's where I was at the time. I was going to the University of Florida. And the question came up, do you want to move to Canada? Me and you know how this Canada is. It's not the same as the beaches of Florida. But the bottom line was that I was paying international tuition there in Florida and Canada. I was coming as a permanent resident. And money talks, whether it's 500 naira notes or $100 notes, money
Mhm.
talks. So that was really what like made the decision to move to Canada. So I moved and transferred universities, transferred to UBC in Vancouver. And I've been in Canada since then. So as I was saying, at the same time, my brother and sister also moved. So my sister was in university in Oklahoma, same situation, international student there, transferred to UBC. And then my brother was just finishing A levels at the time as well. So he was like, well, I'm going to university in Canada, I guess. I started university at UBC in Vancouver. So we all from different places moved and all landed in the same city and the same university. So that was good to like have them around, even though like we all came from different places.
Okay, that's really cool. So, just to ask about if you were born in Nigeria, what was the trajectory of how you moved to get to Florida?
Yeah, so this is the explanation for why I don't know about Sir and Doctor and Alhaji. So so like I was saying when I was born in Nigeria, I was born in Warri, Wafi stand up, or no carry last. Um
Eh,
and at the age of 6, my family moved to Oman. So we lived in the Middle East, in Oman for like 3.5, 4 years, something like that. Which was like that was an amazing experience. First time abroad. I moved for my dad's work. He worked in oil and gas. And the funny thing about moving is that some wherever you are, like you always find Nigerians. Like, so I didn't even feel it didn't feel so heavy. Like I was in our country, different culture. There's people from other cultures, but the core, the people I saw all the time were still Nigerian people. We flock together. We don't play those games. Um, so yeah, so we're in Oman, and then after the 4 years in Oman, moved back to Nigeria. And at that time, moved to Port Harcourt. Um, so Port Harcourt was, yeah, that was cool. You see, if you had asked me now, the capital of a river state now, I would have told you Port Harcourt, but that's a matter for the past comment.
oh,
um,
wow.
so,
Okay.
so, so yeah, Port Harcourt, and then did boarding school in Abuja. And then while I was in GS3, I got a very exciting letter or a call or whatever. No, the principal of the office said, "Yo, we want to see you." I said, "This is. I'm a good student, normal. Even though again that trivia did not show, but I'm a good student." And so they called me to the office and they said, "Yeah, so your dad said that you and your family are moving to Holland." I said, "What?" I said, "So I can get out of this prison that you are calling boarding school." So, but I had to keep it on the down low for like a month, which was, as you can imagine, very difficult for me not to be like, "Hey, you guys, I'm out of here. I'm out of here." Um, the funny thing about that movie is like when I eventually told people, one senior on my table played me. He was like, "Yo, man, you're moving to Holland. Like, you're going to enjoy a good life. So, like, all this rice and chicken that we're eating here, you don't need it." Yeah, and the thing was high me. So I said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm moving abroad. Like, man, drink my Fanta, chop my chicken." About an hour later, I was like, "Yo, but I still have to eat while I'm, I still have to eat while I'm here." So they finished me, man. Um, so yeah, anyway, so we eventually did the move, moved to Holland. So I spent basically high school years in Holland. I went to a British school there, but again, people from all different parts of the world. But Niger people, we still found each other. And actually, my friends that I made in that school or in that time there, three of or four of them ended up being like my groomsmen at my wedding like a few years ago. So like
Aw,
that was
that's
a
dope.
Holland was a good time.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it there. And high school year is always fun. When you're not when you're not in a boarding school in Abuja.
Mhm.
And then from Holland after graduating, it was about university, and I'd seen all the movies. Every movie about university, it was about college and America. So I was like, look, there's only one place I'm going. Even like I said, I went to a British school. Everyone was preparing, doing their A levels and stuff, ready to go to Manchester. I'm like, look, I've seen the movies. I'm going to America. I'm ready to do a keg stand and frat this
Okay.
thing. I was like,
Chug,
this is what I
chug,
want to do.
chug, chug,
Exactly. You get it.
chug,
Chug, chug,
chug,
chug. I
chug.
didn't know that. I didn't know that wasn't really my future, but I wanted it. So yeah, so I moved to Florida. And as mentioned, I spent a year, my freshman year in Florida, and then transferred to UBC, and I've been in Canada ever since.
Mhm.
Um, which is interesting because in all those years, all these moves, now, even though I don't know how Canadian I would say I feel, but Canada is the one place that I've lived in the longest in my life. So
Mhm.
it's strange to say that because I still feel like a foreigner here, but yeah, it is what it is.
So, like, how did you get into comedy? In which of because
Um,
you moved
yeah, yeah.
From Nigeria to the Middle East to Europe to North America. Like, so what? At what point were you like, oh, I'm kind of funny? Let's try to do it. Like, at what point did it click for you like that?
Yeah. You know what? Like, I've always thought I was funny.
Okay.
Um, so that one clicked long time ago. I would say like I remember in when we were in Holland, I was in our English classes. You had to pick either English literature or English drama. I chose drama, and you had to come up with like a play for one of the grades. And me and my friend, we came up with a play, and it was like just a straight comedy. It was just stupidity, right? And even like I did a couple other performances in Holland that were like just comedy performances on stage. Um, and then I went to Florida, and same thing. I actually took one of the plays I did in Holland and brought it to like the African Student Union there in Florida because they were doing their, annual showcase or whatever. I was like, yo, this would be funny. This would be good. Like I've done it before. And so again, did some comedy on stage. But in terms of like stand up, the first time I actually ever did stand up was it was money motivation at the end of the day. They were doing so the African Students Club at UBC, they were doing a talent show. And I've seen a few of the African students events, and someone's going to come and sing, somebody's going to come and dance, somebody's going to come and do maybe some poetry. And I said, there's no way someone's going to come and do comedy. So like at the very least, I know I'll stand out. Even if I'm like not the most hilarious, I know like they'll be like, this guy came to do something. So
Yeah.
so I wrote some jokes. And I remember like I was nervous. When you're doing stand up, it's not like you're working on it with someone. It was just me in my mind. So I was like, oh, let me try this. Let me try this out on someone. So I stopped my brother and a friend in the hallway, and I just ran through the jokes, but I didn't perform it. I just kind of ran through the jokes. And the dude was like, I wasn't very wasn't very for like he was like, I hope that's not what you're going to do. And I was like, "Hmm,
Oh my
if I
gosh.
say what is on my mind for you. But anyway, I didn't have more jokes. I was like, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this on stage. Um, so I went, I did the performance on stage, and it's actually it's up on YouTube actually if you if you look for it. The first time I ever did it, and the competition happened, and I ended up coming second, which was like the girl that beat me. She did poetry, spoken word. I'm still beefing her to today. But yeah, came second. I won $25. I spent it all that night, but it was it was good. It was good. That was the first time I ever did stand up, which was here in Canada in Vancouver, and then since then I've been doing it.
That is super cool. So you started with a competition, and then was that the so that was the very 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 first stand up performance ever that you did.
Yeah, it was the very first one. And when I look back at it now, like I still cringe at some of it, but like it's what I had.
So okay, that's really cool. So like, how do you go about like how do you combine? Because we talked about your day job, about how you have your career, but you have this thing that you're really passionate about, which is comedy. Like, how do you combine the two in your life? Like, how do you go about pursuing comedy while also maintaining, you know, your career?
Yeah, no, it's funny that you say that because like I feel like in my life, like everything, and maybe it's just my perspective. I just try to find the funny in everything. Um, so 9 to 5, I'm an engineer. I work in the energy industry here in Calgary, and like as people are talking in meetings, I'm just thinking about like, yo, what's the funniest thing I can, what's the funniest thing I can say right now just to make this room laugh? And I'm like, I don't know if they're keeping me there just because like, oh, I bring some good jokes, or if like I'm still I'm still a
You do your
legit
job well.
engineer. Um, but it can be challenging, right? Like if you're really trying to pursue comedy, like for real, having a job that's like, I would say my job is a little bit demanding. Like sometimes, it carries on into the evenings. It's tough because if you're trying to do stand-up comedy in this culture as well, you're trying to hit stages on, weeknights, and that can be pretty tough. So most of where I perform or like get out my jokes is from hosting events, so like emceeing.
Mhm.
which is typically, weekend stuff, evening stuff on like a Friday maybe. So like I have set up jokes that I run through, always writing new stuff, but that's kind of how I try to balance it. Is like, I do stand up when I can. Usually when people invite me because it's hard for me to kind of look up and be like, yeah, I should be going to these stages. But whenever someone says, hey man, I want you to come do 5 minutes here, I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I can make the time to do 5 minutes. So that I enjoy stand up a lot. And then emceeing and trying to wet my beak, what they call it, dip my toe,
Mhm.
shower, water
All of
and
them, all the
body
above. Yeah.
into yeah into writing, so like writing for film or TV. That would be really that would be really cool if I could do more of that.
Okay. And you started doing that.
That's right, which is why I said this might turn into me interviewing you, because I know I have many questions for you, but maybe we'll we'll leave that for a different day.
Okay. You
um
can ask some
because
questions.
you are an established filmmaker and writer and creator who, the community looks up to and holds in high esteem. And so people like you are those that should lead the way for those of us who are trying to wet our beak. Um,
Since when you said
so that's
established, I claim it in the
yes
name
now.
of Jesus.
Claymore. No, but for real, I mean, not to continue to watch you on your own podcast, or make you feel embarrassed, but it is good to see people like you, like doing that, right? Like, and doing it for real, because if I ever thought that that was something that I could do for real, not until the last couple of years, where when I seen people like you and those that have opened doors for me in different ways to do that. So big shout out to I have to say Auntie Catherine, because I've known her since I was a kid. But Auntie Catherine, who on her upcoming project sequel to movie she did already that was a hit on Netflix, 2 weeks in Lagos. She's doing a Calgary based um, movie. She asked me if I could, work on the movie, punch up, make jokes, and then she was like, you know what, like I'll bring you on for real, and like you can really take a crack at the script here. So to me, that's like something that I had spoken into the universe. And like somehow somebody thought of me and said, hey, I want this guy to help me on my project. So I'm looking forward to seeing what more of that.
Yeah, shout out. By the way, I read the script, y'all, because I'm also on the project and it was incredible. So, and like, obviously,
Okay.
with writing, writing is rewriting. You write and you write and you write until actors actually say the words. Like, you'll keep
Yeah.
writing until you say action. Like, that's
Yeah.
literally how it goes.
Yeah.
So I just look forward to how the script will evolve, even further, as scripts tend to do. I appreciate your kind words about me and my work. I receive it. We spoke earlier and we had a little bit of a conversation about the sense of like imposter syndrome,
Mm,
in which, like, because as a person you are very reserved, while in performance it
hmm.
requires you to be very extroverted and very animated sometimes, and like, to be the
Yeah.
life of the stage and to have the presence and all those things. And you
Yeah.
talked about how when you leave the stage you're back in your introverted like, into your shell, and you're back to like, and
Yeah.
so in a sense what people see is not really what they get.
Hmm.
Would you mind talking a little
For
bit more
sure.
about that?
Yeah. No, you're very right about that. Like for me, I think I might have said this to you, but I say this to people a lot. Like for me, like if I'm doing stand up, let's say pure stand up, the most ideal situation for me is for me to walk off that stage. And as I'm walking up, people are patting my back, giving me thumbs up, and I'm walking straight into my car and going home. Like for me, I'm like, I've done my thing. The Even like I'm a bad like comedian. Like the banter before, the banter after. I'm like man, I want to do my jokes, see if it's funny. If it's funny, if it's not funny, I'll work on it and I'll be back.
Hmm.
But like you said, like I'm a typically introverted person. I'm a lot more introverted than people would think. My wife says I scammed her because she was like, yeah, I knew you as Kome, the funny guy, the comedian, the MC, but like that's you're not giving me that right now. Like you're very quiet.
That is
And I'm like,
crazy.
yeah. Um, so yeah, so people expect me to be, and so I even try to, like you said, imposter syndrome, right? Like just small things, like I always feel, sometimes I feel like, okay, if nobody else is talking here, even though it's not my comfort zone, I feel the pressure to now be like, okay, let me be the energy and light and the funny guy, or even like when people, if who they know me as, or they've heard, oh, this guy's a comedian or an MC. Once someone says that, I'm like, okay, now I have to
Perform.
be that person, even off stage, even without mic. Now I
Right.
have to be doing dancing for them. um, but in a way, like I enjoy it as well, right? It all depends on the environment. For me, like bringing joy in whatever way I can, especially laughter, is like is gold. Like being on stage, doing an event, and like that first big laugh you get, that's like I'm not a drug addict, but I can imagine that's what it's like to be, doing some of that hard stuff because it's like you can't replace that with anything. It's pretty cool. So I try as much as I can live up to that when people see me. And once I get home, I'm like, look, man, let me off my bra and relax because because that was a lot.
Right,
That
right,
was a
right,
lot.
right. Thanks for sharing that because I often wonder, and I've not really. I guess you're right. Like when people hear, "Oh, you're a comedian," make us laugh.
Yeah,
there's that expectation that every single thing you do is going to have me rolling on the floor laughing. And
yeah.
sometimes, especially when depending on the time and the plays, it's like, bro,
Hmm.
like, can you leave me alone? Like I can imagine that being it because especially when you have to prepare and get in the mind space to face an audience because like some people literally take drugs to face audience members. Like it's not
Yeah,
easy and it can be very unpredictable. So like I can imagine like being the expectation of the banter and the like, oh hey, shooting the shit or whatever it's
yeah,
called before going on stage.
yeah.
Like, bruh, just let me. I
I'm
don't want to forget my jokes right now, please.
exactly,
you
exactly.
know?
And people will often ask like, oh, they'll say, oh man, you're such a natural speaker, natural. Say, if you don't know the nature, the nature that's taking place, the way I'm hot and sweating, like it's
Mm,
um it's definitely a discipline, it's definitely a practice. Like before I hit the stage, like I want to say 95% of the time, unless it's like it's unless it's a group of people that I'm just so comfortable with somehow, I'm always like super nervous and wondering. Somehow I always think of like how bad could this go?
mm-hmm.
The other day I was doing an event, I was emceeing, and like it was someone's wedding. And I mean, I'm sure you can probably tell from my background, right? Like I'm not the most Nigerian. So like there are certain rooms that they're like, yeah, this guy is not this guy's not our picture of a comedian or entertainer. But I'm also not the most, Canadian. But so sometimes I walk into a room like a wedding and I look around, I'm like, there's a lot of aunties and uncles here. Um, this is not my dream demographic. But initially I was just making a comment. I made a comment to the DJ or someone. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of uncles and aunties here. And he was like, yeah, are you nervous? I was like, oh wait, should I be? And then I
Be.
started to go like, oh, this
Yeah,
this could
yeah.
go left. The joke I do, they won't laugh. Yeah, I know aunties and uncles when they're not
They're
finding
like
something funny. This
this
is them.
with their stanky
Yeah,
eyes.
exactly.
Yeah. Judging you
But it went
before you
well.
even start.
Exactly. But it went well. But every time I'm nervous. Every time I forget that like I've actually made people laugh before. This is not my first time trying to win $25 on the talent show. Like this is I'm okay. So it helps to remind yourself of that, and like when people also encourage you, it's good as well.
Yeah, and you just touched on something because I think that's something that's very real for people that moved away from their home country at a very, very young
Yeah,
age and people that have lived in so many
yeah,
different places where you're like, well, I don't feel, African enough or, from Caribbean or whatever it is. Like I don't feel like I
yeah.
belong to I'm that deeply entrenched in my roots, but I'm also kind of sort of new in this place. I'm also
Mm-hmm.
not very Canadian or very American or whatever the case may be. So how
Mm-hmm.
would you say that you navigate your self sense of self, your identity in the different spaces that you have occupied so far, including Canada, and even in your workplace, like
Yeah.
and in your comedy, in your career? How would you say that you hold on to your sense of self? How would you say that you hold on to and celebrate, your history and your cultural identity.
Yeah. No, it's tough if I'm being honest with you because on top of being an introvert, I probably lean more people pleasing as well. Um, so so like I'm very hesitant to even just correct people or something. For example, my my now wife, like when we were just dating, even at the time, and I'd known her for years, she had been saying my name wrong, right? She had been saying my name wrong the whole time. And we started dating, and I never said, "Hey, by the way, just so you know, since we're actually like this is something's going on here. This is actually how you pronounce my name." I left it, and then my sister called her and was like, "Yo, do you not know how to say this guy's name?" And so she obviously she came back to me. She's like, "Yo, I've been saying your name wrong the whole time, and you didn't tell me." I was like, "Yeah, mine was it's too late. It is what
Oh
it is."
my days.
Um,
Wow.
yeah. So I'm the kind of person like I just try to like blend. My nature is to try to blend. When I tell you the number of jokes I've laughed at that I have no idea what this person said, both at work, both with Niger
Ugh.
people all over the place. I'm just like, crazy, crazy,
I
crazy.
relate, but I think I just
Um,
mostly I just smile, like especially when I moved here with the North American style of comedy, the self-deprecating
yeah,
comedy, the like sarcasm that I don't really get. Like I just would be like,
yeah.
that's literally it.
Nah,
Sorry,
man,
but
I
continue.
take it to the next level and I go, yo, crazy, crazy. And then I hope that they don't like, follow up with like, some more questions because then I'm in trouble and all of
Then
a sudden my imaginary
you're
imaginary phone is
exposed.
ringing. Yeah, because
Yeah.
even like I went to one of the popular sugarcane events here in Calgary and I ran into someone and they were like, "Oh my gosh, Kobe." And my natural response is, "Oh my gosh." I had no idea who this person was, but it's just to me, I'm like, it's the hassle and the confrontation of being like, yo, I don't know who you are. And she was like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Good." She's like, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And then she was like, and then she did the thing I dread the most. She's like, "Where do you know me from?" I said, "Hmm." I said, I said, "You know what? Remind me again." And then she was like, "You emceed my husband's birthday." I was like, "Right, that's true." And that one hit me because I was like, "Yo, I legitimately spent like many hours standing next to you and doing, and I pretended I knew you, but I have not changed my ways. I keep moving like that, like that." So that's the long version of the answer for it. It's tough. It's tough for me to be like, to show my full self, whether it's at work, whether it's after work, because I'm always in my head about like, oh, what would people feel about me if I say this thing or if I behave this way? But I've been trying to, do more of that, like really lean more into like who I actually am. So when people are talking about, "Hey man, we're going to the hockey game. You want to come along?" I said, "I don't like hockey." Or I say I'm good. I would rather go home, but it's hard. My wife will tell you like I'm usually one of those people that is like the last to leave a function, not because I want to be there, but because I'm like, yo, if I leave now, like maybe this circle was standing will scatter, or like two people have left, and I'm like, okay, now it's me and two other people. If I leave, and then I end up being like, it's me and the cleaner sweeping at the end of the night going.
Are you for
So like
real?
yeah, so
Wow.
it's a struggle, but I think if anything, like that's where I appreciate being able to do stand up, for example, because I can say whatever I want and no one is responding to me. It's my monologue and I can be myself and they either laugh or they don't laugh and I get off and it is what it is.
You're
Um,
like, whether you
but it's
laugh
hard.
or you don't laugh, they are paying me at the end of this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Um, yeah, it's an interesting balance, but I try. Even though I failed most of those questions, I still consider myself Nigerian over everything. Like there's so many people because I do a decent Canadian accent, so when I'm talking to people, they assume that I was born here, and they always ask me, "Was I born here?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't know left from right in this city, but I'm glad I blended in enough for you." And on the Niger side too, people, I blend in as much as I can until they find out that hey, I don't know what they're talking about when they're making certain cultural references. And that's when I'm like, yeah, you know what? Hello?
Totally. I hear that. I see. it does not matter, bro. Like you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian, you're Canadian, you're Canadian.
Yeah,
It is what it is. You can be more than one thing at a time. And like
yeah.
anybody that has a problem with you living at a younger age or not knowing certain things, they should come and fight their grandfather. Like like
Abi?
because that's how I see it, right? You were 6 when you left. Like did and when you even
Yeah,
returned, you stayed for maybe, I don't know, I can't do the math now, maybe 5, 6 years before
yeah,
you had
yeah.
to leave again. Like, I mean, whose fault is it? They are just jealous that they
Exactly,
could not
exactly.
leave at a young age. That's what it is.
tell, tell
But
them.
but no, truly, like I find it really weird when people are like, you know, you're like when people try to challenge your Nigerianness or your like your country of origin because of one reason or the other. It's just really weird to me. I don't get it. I don't get what kind of joy people derive from that. But
Yeah,
I appreciate your honesty in saying and just expressing that it can be really tough because it really can be. I know when I first moved here, the sense of humor, like it flinged me off. I did not know what was going on. Somebody would say a random dry ass thing. In my own opinion, and now I get the
yeah.
references a little better and I can like hee hee a little bit. But I see, I got to a point where I would just be laughing, and one day I looked myself in the mirror and said, Sarah, why are you laughing? What did they even say? You know, the person was speaking so fast, you did not even hear the actual words that they said, not to talk of to understand it. Why are you
Yeah,
laughing? You know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
from that day on, I just decided, you know, you can just have a like a polite smile and you don't have to laugh. Like it is what it
yeah.
is. Like or you can ask what is funny.
Exactly, exactly. You
If
can
it's
say, hey, I don't like,
I
yeah, I
don't.
don't get
Yeah,
it.
if
Although
there's
that
one, I
nine
mean,
to five,
obviously, you don't want to be rude, right? But if there's someone you
yeah,
know that's on your close, I'm like, wait, what was the joke?
yeah,
Just in
yeah.
camera,
There's
in a
so many
corner.
times where like I'll be laughing at something and like let's say someone didn't hear and they're like, oh, what did you say? I'm like, "Look, bro, I don't even you're wasting your time asking me.
I
I'm
don't know.
laughing out of politeness.
Yeah, yeah, truly, truly. And just to fit in because like nobody wants to feel like they're the
Yeah,
other, and nobody wants to feel like they're a stranger there. They're not welcome there. They're not part. They don't belong. And so like it's a
yeah,
self protecting, like it's a natural instinct to want to like do whatever it is you can to blend in. But
yeah.
how about in other things like in the food? Do you still eat Nigerian food? Do you still listen to Afro beats? Do you still,
Oh
you
no,
know,
surely.
like do you understand your
That's why I call myself
language? Do you
that's why I call myself Nigerian over everything because yeah, food, music, culture, people, humor, all that stuff I lean very Nigerian. Like yeah, when people ask me, so what do you listen to at work? I go, how do I get into Afro beats for them? It's like okay, so it all started with um and so like yeah, so definitely like Afro beats is my jam. Even like especially even more these days because I used to be, especially when you're growing up outside of Nigeria, anywhere black is good enough. So it's the hip hop, it's the R&B, which is all good and fun. Like I love it too.
Mhm.
But now more and more, I'm like, I'm not even with what y'all are
You're
rapping
listening
about. Like
to, yeah,
I'm missing every third word. So like Afrobeats is definitely my mainstay.
every third word.
In terms of food,
Mhm.
I'm definitely like, yeah, jollof is king. Niger jollof is king. Let's be clear, in case any
Okay.
Ghanaians are listening and they want to come and say something like, boiled egg in jollof. I don't know for those people. But yeah, so Nigerian food, Nigerian music. 95% of people I spend my free time with are Nigerians or African or black. So like that side, we can't question that one.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Kome, thank you so much for spending the time with us today and sharing your story with us and laughing with us and telling us some jokes and the trivia. Even though, you know, you did were to the answer sometimes, but we got
You
there.
know what? Is the spirit that matters. That's all I have to say. And
The
I think I
spirit,
brought the right spirit.
oh, like
The spirit of the answer. Yeah, the
the
spirit of the answer.
spirit of the answer.
Yeah.
So you were
Sometimes people talk about
channeling.
oh the letter of the law or the spirit of the law. I'm the spirit. People can focus on the letter. I'm the spirit.
I've
Uh,
actually not heard that argument before.
oh really? Like
The letter of the
let's say
law
someone
versus
commits a
the.
crime. Someone commits a crime and like this is what it says to the T, but you're like, okay, is that really what this is about though? So me, I'm like, are we really about testing an innocent young man about his Nigerian knowledge, or are we about, building community and brightening up someone's day. And that's the spirit, and that's what I'm here to deliver.
This man, we are doing both. It's both. The two, both of them is the
It's both
answer.
there.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. We're quizzing you, and we're trying to have a good time. Amazing. So,
No, well, this
Kome,
was great.
this
Thanks for the chat as well. I'll interview you later, so we'll talk about that one a different day. But I really appreciate it, and keep up all the good work as well. I think it's really cool that you're doing this and getting these stories from very ordinary and average people like myself.
and look at the way you're calling yourself ordinary and average. A whole engineer like you, oh.
I'm a
A whole
humble guy, though.
celebrity
I'm a
like
humble
you.
guy.
Oh. Okay, no wahala. Thank you, though. I appreciate you. Would you mind leaving us with a word of advice, a word of, wisdom for us to take with us?
Okay. Jot this down. Jot this down.
Okay, yes.
Um, I would say, and for me this is a personal one, personal mantra. I would say do everything you can to see the positive in things, in people, in situations, or whatever, because I believe that perspective is key. Like you can be in a very rough situation, and if you focus on the positive, the clouds move apart and you see some sun. So, and
Yeah.
also hire me as your MC and comedian at events. That's also some word of advice for the people listening.
Yes, if you're in Calgary, that was actually going to be my next question. Like, do you have a Instagram, social media, websites? How can people book you? How can people reach out to you? Introduce yourself. Do as if you
Yeah.
are introducing yourself now. Hi, I'm Kome. I'm makeup.
Okay.
Action.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, yeah, if you like a good time, if you like a laughter, if you like a smile, my name is Kome Eto, and I'm here to deliver that to you. You can find me on Instagram at Coomstone, KOOMBSTONE. It has nothing to do with Tombstone. I won't die very soon in Jesus' name. Um,
Amen.
so yeah, hit me up on IG. That's probably the best place to reach me.
Hmm.
I got Instagram when someone told me that I was a very unserious entertainer because I was like, yo, message me on Facebook or like here's my here's my number, and they're like, you better get your ass on Instagram, otherwise you're not going to get any bookings. So yeah, so find me on Instagram. I'm not on the Bird app. I'm not on the other things, but I'm on Instagram.
Okay. So, do you have an email address you'd like to plug in, a website,
Oh
anything like
yeah.
that? Or
Oh yeah. I'll give my email. You're very. I like this promotion you do for me. I really
yeah. You
appreciate
have
it.
to. You have to. You have to. You have to. Yes.
Um, yeah, you can also email me comeeto3 at gmail.com. The three is because Kometo was taking Kometo one, so I just went with three,
So
because
you went down
I'm
the
like
one, two, three.
I want the 1, 2, 3. But yeah, Kometo3 at gmail.com. Yeah, and that's, and you can also find me at my home current address. Maybe that's not safe. I'll leave that one. I'll leave that
I
one. I don't
mean,
like I know your viewers are upstanding people, but the trust level, I'm not quite there yet. So
that's okay.
let's
That's
stick to
okay.
IG
Neither
and
am
email.
I. But are you willing to travel, or are you just like local to Alberta, to Calgary, or do
Oh
you
yeah.
travel
No, I
for?
travel. I've emceed events throughout Canada, really all through the country. So and I'll travel anywhere else too. Just make sure that you put me in a first class hostel. I'm good with that.
Okay, okay. Willing to travel,
Yeah,
y'all.
I said first class, but then I downgraded to hostel so that it's still affordable.
Not hostel. 3 stars
Not
and up
hotel, hostel.
hotel, not a motel, not a
Okay.
hostel, a hotel.
Yeah. I We don't have the time to talk about the time that I wanted to save somebody money and I booked myself into like a rundown hotel in Windsor, and to to this day, I've not forgotten. I think I slept standing up because I didn't want to enter that bed. So please, I beg, not that kind of place.
Yikes. All
Yeah.
right, y'all have heard it. Kome, the comedian, the MC, the comedic MC, the
Okay.
writer,
Look at
you
you.
know. So he's willing to travel, even though he's based in Calgary. You can follow him on Instagram, his email, and all that stuff. And yeah, we have come to the end of our episode. Once again, Kome, thank you so much for spending your time with us today and sharing your story and having this conversation. I appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Sarah.
Yeah. And to our listeners, thank you for sticking with us. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye. We are come and say bye bye.
Bye. Peace. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Bye, y'all.